records in Iowa. So, first of all, Iowa has a public records law. It is not the same as FOIA, the federal law, but it is very, very similar. Chapter 22 of the Iowa Code outlines Iowa's public records laws, and this is what you want to cite when dealing with an Iowa institution, be it state or local government. So, first of all, Iowa Code Chapter 22 gives you the right to examine public records, and it's pretty broad. There are a few exemptions. Certain confidential information like employee files, certain law enforcement information, um, certain information about people under 18, I believe, would be exempted from those records. So, for example, if you request emails from a school district and it has a student's name mentioned and the student's under 18, probably that's going to get redacted. But there's a whole lot you can get. So, first of all, there are fees which you can incur for copying or for the agency or institution to look for the records or to supervise your copying and examination of the records. So, uh, Iowa Code says, for example, the lawful custodian shall make every reasonable effort to provide the public record requested at no cost other than copying costs for a record which takes less than 30 minutes to produce. In the event expenses are necessary, such expenses shall be reasonable and communicated to the requester upon receipt of the request. A person may contest the reasonableness of the custodian's expenses as provided for in this chapter. Okay, so if you have a simple request, there usually should not be a fee at all unless you ask for paper copies. But we have seen institutions in Iowa quote very high fees for copies of public records. So it's important before you make a complaint about the cost estimate that you're given that you have done a good job in crafting your request. I recommend avoiding a give me everything, making a request very vague or something like that, and instead taking some time to figure out what you're trying to achieve, what it is you're looking for, and where it might be. Now, if you're networked with other people who are trying to make changes in some government institution, that can be helpful because you might have expertise. You may have it, but you may be networked with other people who have it. And that expertise can help you figure out where you want to request your search to be done, which can reduce the amount of time spent, which means your costs will be lower. And if you do a very narrowly targeted request and it's reasonable and you get quoted $10,000 or something crazy like that, then you can go back and raise hell with the institution, and you can also make a complaint to the Iowa Public Information Board once you have done that. But make sure your request is reasonable. Don't ask for copies of every book used in a school district in the last 10 years. That's not going to be a low effort search. So, why might you want to do a public records request? You might have questions. This has been a thing lately about who's pushing a political agenda in a school. You might want to find out where money is being spent. Is your school district or your local government or something spending tens of thousands of dollars to send people to faraway places and put them up in hotels for training? Maybe training that goes against your values, maybe training that goes against American values. You might want to get copies of staff training material or sessions. You might also want to get emails from some people who you think might be, well, maybe not. Well, maybe up to no good. Yeah, we'll say that. So, the people that might be able to help you, if you don't have tech skills, if you know any computer science, IT people, those would be good people to have help you with this. If you know people who work in this institution, For example, in a school district, teachers might say, we put all of our stuff in Google Classroom. And if you're worried about something objectionable in Google Classroom, now you know where to ask the custodian of records to have the search done. And that will reduce the amount of time. You could say just only in Google Classroom. If you have a whistleblower teacher, for example, that says, hey, there's some crazy stuff telling kids there are 469 genders that's in Google Classroom, but I don't want my name out there or anything like that, you can just go and say, okay, I want anything about gender to be searched in Google Classroom, and I want that. And you can make that request. If you think there's something in emails, you might want to request all emails from, let's say, the school counselor to teachers that talk about gender identity or something like that. Those might be redacted if they have student names in them, but you can find out exactly how much school counselors are talking about gender. So, to do this, then, you would want to first find out who the custodian of public records is. You could probably just call and ask. If it's a school district, it's usually the board secretary. You'll want to write your request, and you will want to be as specific as possible, but don't take out anything that might be that might possibly edge out the information that you're looking for. So, for example, you could write a request for emails, and you could say, I would like any emails sent from so-and-so to so-and-so in the school district between these two dates, and include any attachments. You could also request from certain domain names. For example, I know somebody recently who did request for any emails from or to any email in the account domain of the school district, to or from any account in the domain of a local business, and asked for dates between July of last year and July of this year. And you can also say, if you want to get fancy with it, you can say to or from anyone in the district, including but not limited to, and you could say that if you want to. You could say principals, assistant principals, librarians, blah blah blah. But possibly the best thing you can do is find out exactly who you think is up to no good and get specific. Ask for that person's email account. Joe H at ames.k12.ia.us to anybody at inappropriatebooksforkids.com or something like that. You could do easily something like that. They should get back to you within a few days at most, and they should either have the records that you requested or give you some kind of estimate on the time and perhaps the cost if that's there. You can also ask in your request that they notify you of any potential charges so that you may narrow your request if need be. And I haven't had too many problems with narrowly tailored requests. Now, if you've done a narrowly tailored request, you ask for all emails from the last 5 months from the principal to a school board member or something like that, from or to, and it's only 5 months of emails, and they say it's going to be $8,000, then you go back to them and you say that is not a reasonable request. You can ask, by the way, how many records that would be, and those email searches are not hard to do if they use Google or Microsoft for their email, and most schools use Google these days from what I can tell. If they still say, no, it's going to be $8,000 and there's 20 emails, probably not going to happen, but let's say it does, and you're not getting any satisfaction there. You can go to court. You can get a lawyer and sue, or get a nonprofit to sue. Like, for example, the Kirkwood Institute, I believe, is a law firm, or I'm sorry, a law foundation here in Iowa that's a nonprofit, but you also have the option of filing a complaint with the Iowa Public Information Board. And here is their website right here. And that's why it's important to document everything, all your interactions. If you call somebody on the phone, you may want to record it. Iowa is a one-party consent state, which means that only one party in the conversation has to be aware that it's being recorded for it to be legal. So if you are talking in the conversation and people, if you're one-on-one with somebody and you're recording it, you don't have to. You could, as a courtesy, I guess, say you're going to record it for your records, but you don't have to. The best way, though, I think, is email, because you have a record that you sent it and then you have everything in writing. But you want to keep all your records, and if you're not getting satisfaction, then the Iowa Public Information Board is the way to go. And in most cases, contact by the IPIB uh, will get compliance of a non-compliant Iowa institution, but it also could help you later if you decide to go to court about it. So that is the short rundown on public records. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions or need help, please contact us at Team. We are not NOT lawyers, but we have done some public records requests, and we are here to help.